Our states and the bluegrass state.
That's
this
him.
is your two dads.
Your two dads.
Two real dads giving you the real news.
So what happened with the whole idea of putting that up before our faces so that the intro was playing over that? Then we go to us. That never happens, and it's very embarrassing so far.
I thought that we were supposed to like they're supposed to see us doing stuff in the background while this thing. No, we're not. That's the wrong way to do it.
Yes, I thought we were going to put that logo up and start with that logo and then come to us. And it's never worked that way, and I don't like this, and then blah 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 blah. Now blah, blah, blah,
your two dads.
Cool intro.
And then I thought I was supposed to bring it up right at the end and say something like
"out pre-show." These are things that should have been discussed post-show.
Look, this show is spaghetti on the wall, bro. We just take everything, we take ideas, we throw them at the wall, and we see kind of what sticks. And then the audience doesn't respond. That's fine. And then I just kind of we just do whatever we want to do. Okay. Anyway, today's episode, Vivek Ramaswamy, Vampire Hunter. It's going to be great.
Is that what it's called? I still can't see it.
You can't see it. It's right there.
No.
Vivek Ramaswamy, Vampire Hunter. Nikki, Corrupt. I wish I could have got Nikki right there in the background. I guess I should have put her face on there too.
I guess the old.
I don't know. Hey, it's this new restream. It's new and improved and slightly worse than ever before.
Screwed us up this week because we were forced to use it, and it's completely screwed me up. See, the only logo that I have is this one.
Yeah, that's yesterday's show.
Yeah, so
although it's still appropriate, it's not it's not even inappropriate. It's appropriate.
But I don't even see your logo.
Oh, I heard the ding dong doorbell's ringing. We got Dave joining the show today. Where's Dave? It's Sinister Man Helsing. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Okay. Welcome to the show, everybody. We meet Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning. We drink coffee. We talk about the news, politics, culture, pop culture, trends, missions. I don't know. Like whatever's in the news that's interesting. This is the stuff you want to start your day with. To start your day off as it's like the launch pad. This show is like a rocket. This metaphor doesn't work already. I can already tell it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You want to just start your day off on the most positive high note, and then the rest of your terrible life can crumble down on you the rest of the day, and you might survive it. That's what we're trying to do here. That's what I'm trying to do
Happy day to you too, sir. Goodness gracious.
Deke is just in a room by himself.
I think we should start having Sinister Minister do the openings. I think it might be a little bit more positive.
Guest only.
My computer already blew up this morning.
Yeah, Deke. Dave, your mic is buzzing and fuzzing. So it's a problem. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put you over in timeout while you figure it out. What's going on over there?
You did have some fuzz. How will he know that it's not?
I don't know.
Fixed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to figure that out.
He's going to come back on the show and talk to us and see if it's fixed. Fred.
Yeah, wave at us when you think you're ready. I'll be watching for you. All right. So we're going to talk for a little bit about the Republican debate last night. The Republican debate was hilariously entertaining. So if you're like most people and you don't care what any of those people say, you're fine. But if you tuned in and watched, you probably had a good time.
I want to see if Dave's back. I don't want to talk about stories, and I want to fix his microphone.
All right, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's great.
See, it's
perfect.
Good. Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. You can welcome back from the gulag, friend. I'm going to be down here. That way, I'm front and center. Okay. So, but before we can talk about the news or anything like that, Deacon has to give us a music appreciation.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Amazing song today.
Okay,
and folks, if you haven't noticed, Deke's got no beard. He's beardless. He's gone beardless.
Well, I wanted to shave yesterday. I wanted to shave my head because it had gotten long enough to the point that when I sleep and I wake up, it sticks out.
Matted.
I look like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. I'm like, and I don't want to do that. So I was going to shave this, but then I started I started looking at my face, and I had grown out my little Van Dyke, and it was pretty long, and then I grew this out, and it just didn't mesh. It looked weird, and Dave's looks nice. It's short on the side and long, and mine didn't. It was like, and it looked weird. So I was going to take it up, and I was just like, I can grow this all back out, and it's supposed to be in the 60s for the next 3 or 4 days, so I'm not going to freeze.
But it's going to get cold.
Your microphone's doing that crap again.
What?
It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you're too close.
My chin got really cold. No, it's not.
No, it's
close. No, it's your plug-in. It's doing something with your plug-in. I can tell.
Yeah, that sounds like an eighth inch audio cable right there.
Like, that's what it sounds. Yeah, it's that. I bet.
Yep, attenuation or something. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so our song of the day today, music is one that we're doing one hit wonders over on our Discord server. If you want to go, I'm going to throw this up real quick. Discord server. So if you want to go over there to our Discord server and check it out, I'm working on a playlist for Spotify. But the song we're doing one hit wonders, and this band really wasn't even a one hit wonder. The song was never really a hit on the radio. It got up to I don't even know. I don't even know what hang on, I can look it up real quick.
I love this band.
That's better.
It was number 39 on the radios and it broke the top 40. This song was number 39. But you know it, and everyone knows it. It's Rusted Root, Send Me On My Way. Send Me On My Way. Oh, this song is probably one of the most joyful songs ever recorded. It was never a huge hit. Rusted Root was a bar band. They had like 7 freaking members. This song has been used in everything. It was in the movie Matilda. It was in the movie Ice Age. It's been on Chuck. It's been on New Girl. Enterprise commercials. It's been in all kinds of commercials. You've heard this song, and like I put down there, this song contains the most famous penny whistle solo since the "You Can Call Me Al" solo. And from Paul Simon. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Every time I heard this song, I thought it was Paul Simon. I thought it was Paul Simon. I had no idea.
Rusted Root.
In college,
Rusted Root.
There was this Christian worship song called "Wounded Soldier,"
and
we always opened it up with another Rusted Root song. So you get this little hey, yeah, and it was just so much fun. So I learned about Rusted Root in college, and I had at least 3 of their albums. I think they had this 7. One.
Yeah, they had a bunch. Mm-hmm. Rusted Roots. They were around. Rusted Root was around for a long time. So and it's good music. It's I like it. That's my personal chilling out, listening to type music right there.
Very acoustic.
I mean, these guys. I'm looking at this video. This is obviously from the 90s, and I mean the 90s was a time whenever the 70s fashion was being like repurposed and it was like in vogue to be back in the 70s. But I'm watching these things and these camera angles and stuff, and I'm like, I think these guys are still high. Like I think anyway. And there was always a fun song to hear on the radio. I really thought it was like Paul Simon and whatever that other guy's name is. Isn't it
Garfunkel?
Like, yeah, Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah. I really thought it was them. All right. So, Dave, did you watch the Republican debate last night?
Nope.
Oh, we got chat. Who's in the chat? Miss Dangered. Oh, Miss Dangered. For a moment there, I thought the new had his head on upside down. Oh, the new the new guy, Deke. Funny.
It has
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Did you watch the debate, or did you just watch some clips, or did you check it out at all? No, didn't watch it.
I read some highlights after the fact.
You could not be blamed for like being like a Republican debate. Who cares? Trump's not on stage, so what's it matter? And you would be right. you would be absolutely right, because everybody on this stage is like dozens of points behind Trump in the polls. There's no point for Trump to show up other than to elevate the rest of the candidates, which they're a bit bitter about, especially Chris Christie. Chris Christie wants Trump on stage so that he can sell his book. But, okay, so the Republican debate was last night, and normally this would be like, so what? Who cares? It was fun. If you guys are mildly interested in politics, you should go back and rewatch the debate, because it is you're not going to learn anything great about these candidates other than some of them are real dirtbags. And Vivek Ramaswamy had a great time just dropping truth bombs all over people, talking about you're corrupt, you take money from big donors, you take that money from big Democrats, you supported trans this or that, and and he was just it was like he was putting a stake in the heart of vampires all night long. Megyn Kelly was one of the moderators, and her opening question to each one was like really hostile, and it put each one back on their heels a little bit. But the highlights of the night, I think, were Vivek Ramaswamy and to a little bit lesser degree Ron DeSantis tag teaming Chris Christie and Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley had a bunch of supporters in the audience, so whenever she said stuff, you'd hear a bunch of whoops and hollers and stuff. But that's TV. Yeah. That's TV magic trying to fool you.
Do you not think that Vivek Ramaswamy is like too good to be true?
Yeah, for sure.
He sets off a couple of red flags for me for some reason. I can't put my finger on it, but a lot of the stuff that he says was like almost word for word what Obama said. Have you not seen videos where they compare?
I have seen. That's been about a month or so since I've seen that.
Oh my God. And it's not like it was made up. It was like, dude, did you hire the same people? Are the same people writing your stuff? Because if so, all this illusion is crumbling. This illusion that you've got everybody fooled, it's crumbling.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see how you say that, but like if you're gonna like copy and imitate other people, like people that win are great people to imitate. So Barack Obama won twice.
I want to show you, since you're on the Vivek Ramaswamy train.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you this since you'll like this.
I want to say one thing about the tie to Ukraine, if I may. So
this is great.
Foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I want everybody at home to note that I was the first person to say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine. Now a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, I mean, she has no idea what the hell the nature of
She's like, wait a second. Oh,
our sons and daughters
he's killing me right now.
And our military equipment
to
go
looking
fight.
Up and to the right.
Reject this myth that they've been selling you that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and then makes $8 million after, has real foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's her puppet masters right there. The donors right there that are playing her like the puppet master.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I was watching her eyes that whole time, the first time I watched that, and I was like, dude, she don't. Right. She's like straight up, oh my God, please don't ask me to name 3.
Yeah. Her brain was like, saying, we have to support Ukraine, Zelensky, and I know that Russia's involved, and it goes on for 5 minutes, and then finally she names 2 places in Ukraine that are not oblasts or provinces. So, and one of them is Crimea. Crimea is not in Ukraine. Crimea has been controlled by Russia since 2014. So Vivek is totally, I mean, this is one of a bunch of tricks that he did last night. But, he says all of these people say they want to support Ukraine. They don't care about Ukraine. They care about the defense industry getting more contracts and them getting kickbacks. He was all over her for her being, governor of, I think, South Carolina. And then after that, she sat on the board of Boeing. And, she's made millions of dollars since she left public office. So, she's in bed with Boeing and Raytheon and, all of these, defense industry companies. So he's right. She doesn't really care. And I don't think any of them really care. They just use...
He's in bed with all the pharmaceutical companies and the IT companies.
That's
so what the hell?
That's a fair probably criticism. And he certainly has
one half dozen of the other.
Yeah. Who kills more people? Good question. Don't know. Don't know.
Pharmaceutical companies are Boeing.
Let's do one more.
No
Here's let's see. How do I do this? I always forget. Like the new thing here. Let's try this. Here's Chris Christie talking to Vivek talking to Chris Christie. Here we go.
When it comes to Nikki, I think if you're going to actually send your sons and daughters, I think we just learned something from Chris Christie. We learned three things. We learned three things right there. First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York. Yeah. So do everybody a favor. Just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this race. When it comes to Nikki,
you come down here to Jersey,
actually send your sons and daughters to go die in somebody else's war. Excuse me, Chris, I'm speaking, and I'm not done yet. You had your chance, and we're going to be done. So listen up to this. If these people want to send your sons and daughters to go die in Ukraine, they've been arguing for it for a year. $200 billion of our taxpayer money sent over. Neither of them could even name for you the provinces that they actually want to protect. And this is the people who have been touting their so-called foreign policy experience. It is intellectual fraud. These people are lying to you. The same people who told you about weapons and mass destruction in Iraq to justify that invasion didn't know the first thing about it, yet they sent thousands of our sons and daughters to go die. The same people who told you the same in Afghanistan, where the Taliban is still in charge 20 years later. $7 trillion of our national debt due to these toxic neocons. You can put lipstick on a Dick Cheney. It is still a fascist neocon.
Thank
and
you,
you got to see that today.
We need like a fire gift from the bottom.
All right. Wow. I can understand.
A fire gift from the bottom.
I can understand if you think Ramaswamy is too polished or too, but I honestly, and I get that. And I have those same criticisms, some of those same criticisms, but right there in those moments, my perception was this guy is genuinely incensed that these people are
too good to, if something is too good to be true, it most likely is, JJ.
Oh, I think there's a problem. I don't know where it is.
He throws up so many red flags to me. I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint each red flag, but man, there's a bunch that get flown up for Vivek. And I'm not saying that what he's saying is not true. It's just there's something that just throws up a red.
Not sure.
It's like warning. Right. Do not. But
the other ones are wrapped in red flags, and they're just like they're waving. I mean, like the other candidates are as bad or worse. But
I think it was hilarious during that whole time. I think it was hilarious that whole time. Ron DeSantis is like, He's like the hype man, you know. He's like,
Like it was like, let me just step out of the way while you murder these people real quick, and then I don't
want to be a witness
to be right now.
Ron want to be a witness.
And then Ron,
and Chris,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Chris Christie here just seemed like
he's the worst.
I mean, he just seems like the big. He seems like the big guy in high school that was 6'4", that weighed about 300 pounds.
That's right.
If he was on the football team, he was the tackle because he wasn't very athletic. He was just huge and could knock your ass down. So he was probably the tackle, and he got everything that he wanted all the time because he used bullying tactics. That's what it looks like. And because that's what he called it in this. He says, well, we're 25 minutes into this debate, and he's insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence, not her positions. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. This is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop attacking her. Look, Chris, she might be accomplished and she might be smart, but I'm smart in certain things that JJ is a dumbass in.
True.
All right. And Ramaswamy is pointing out that, yeah, she might be smart in some issues, but she's a fucking dumbass on these issues, the ones that are important, the ones that are on her freaking resume that she's trying to get the job for, and she can't answer these questions that someone in that job should be able to answer. You know, this is a job interview, and she was not able to answer some basic questions on there. You saw it, and it's not we're attacking her. Stop attacking her, dude. Shut up. And then he goes, the most obnoxious. It's like, okay, if you want to call people names, that's cool, but that sounds like what me as a Southern Kentucky person automatically thinks of somebody from New Jersey and New York.
Right.
He is the epitome. He is the epitome of what my mind's eye thinks people from New Jersey and New York are like.
Right. Like a Jersey thug.
Just rude, obnoxious, don't have any time for anyone. Yeah. Thug, bullying behavior. That's what I automatically assume everyone from New York is like.
One thing I would love to see.
Let me remind you, you've been to New York and got attacked by a CD guy.
Ripped off by a CD guy.
Go ahead, Dave.
So one thing I would love to see is less adjectives. Like when just state the facts. And if you have to resort to name calling, in my mind, you've already lost.
Oh, and really?
Every one of them have already done that. Now, I'm obviously not going to say anything to violate the Hatch Act, which I've talked with you all about before.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
So, but I will just say, man, just do your job. Do what you want your job to be.
That seems like your position is noble, you know, and righteous in that way. The reality is that the only way you win in politics is by calling names, and those names better stick and better be funny. That's the only way you win. And that's why Trump wins, because Trump comes out and will call someone. I don't know if I heard this. I don't think it was him. Somebody called her Nikki Hillary. And I was like, oh, that would stick if somebody said that. And that's all. And that is the whole message you need, right? That's the whole message you need. You could say Ron DeStilts, and that's probably all the message you need. So, you can say stuff about these missions, but the people that are voting, the people that will turn up at the polls, they're not listening to the nuanced positions. They're not. Correct. They're not.
So I got a comment from my buddy Joey, who can't comment on Rumble anymore.
Oh man! Will Joey come to Discord?
Yeah, so he sends the text. He said that, dude, he said Chris Christie is the guy that's in the truck between Harry and Lloyd and Dumb and Dumber. So I'm going, wait a minute, dude, wait a minute. You don't know how true this is.
Oh, wow. Play it.
See, you guys going to Davenport? My car died and
oh my God!
Make it true. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, boy. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Boy, drive. You guys, enough.
Yes,
dude, that's him.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
That's Chris Christie right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah.
No comment.
He's a literal cartoon character. All right. Well, so if you haven't already, go back and watch the debate, or when you find time, go watch it on YouTube. Don't just watch the clips. Watch the whole thing, because it is great to watch. It's a great entertainment. So go watch maybe you'll
you can swing by. And
I don't think any of these guys have got a chance to be president, but you might want to watch that to say, hey, I don't want any of these guys to hold any position. So I don't know. I'm kind of with Deke, and like I don't trust Ramaswamy. There's something wrong. I'm not sure what it is, but I am. But every time that the rest of them are on stage, I'm always just like, I definitely don't want Chris Christie. I might vote for a Democrat before Chris Christie. There's pretty much no difference. And Nikki Haley, I really don't want them to hold any office. So anyway, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what else we got in the news, Deke? You got a couple others. I saw some entertainment stuff. We can hold that back a little bit. But we got at least 2 entertainment stories. Was there anything else that was like news?
I thought this was funny. Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. This may come as a shock to you both because it was a shock to me.
Okay.
But Biden says that he's not the only Democrat that can beat Trump.
Okay. So this is the second time in a couple of days that we've seen a signal from Biden that he's like not going to be president, not going to run for president. Okay. What's going on here?
So President Joe Biden said on Wednesday that he is not the only Democrat who can defeat former President Donald Trump. I'm not the only one, Biden said at the White House in response to a question from a reporter, but I will defeat him. The case that Biden was uniquely positioned to defeat Trump was central to his campaign 4 years ago that they stole. But Biden told supporters at a fundraising event on Tuesday that if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running. Okay. He says, oh, now that's talking about Trump being a dictator. And we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Trump. So, what do you think about that? Who else could he be alluding to, or is he just setting up the moving the chess pieces to get the thoughts in people's minds?
That's already? That's what I think is kind of happening.
I'm not the only one that can beat him. Brainwashing words. You know how I. It's all.
I see.
It very well could be that.
Well, so there's a lot of scuttlebutt about Gavin Newsom, perhaps. Like setting up a shadow campaign to run for president, but he hasn't announced that he's running, which means there's a whole lot of mechanisms that are not in place for Gavin Newsom to run for the Democratic Party.
I mean, California is running so well. He's ran that state so well that it's.
So like he doesn't have any legitimate like funding operations for the presidency. You're supposed to disclose records if you're running for president, and he's not doing that. You also, as soon as you announce you're running for president, you have to disclose like donations, all kinds of stuff like that. And Newsom hasn't done that, but he has gone on like a little tour and he did a debate against DeSantis. He's been going around and supporting, taking public positions, endorsing, the Biden administration and whatnot. But there isn't anybody else on the Democratic aisle that even appears to be like ready to run for president, much less to take up the job. And the Democratic Party has already said they're not going to hold primaries. So like Biden is your guy. You don't get a choice. But if Biden doesn't run, well, then what's going to happen? Is the Democratic National Committee just going to like decide somebody is running and they're just going to put somebody up on in the nomination? It's not really clear.
Wow, JJ, it's almost like you're finally opening your eyes to how everything is actually ran. The illusion that we have a choice. If I have a choice, if there are 28 different brands of biscuits that you know of, that you got to go and you want biscuits for breakfast, and you go to Walmart and you're looking and you know that there's 28, Walmart carries on their website 28 different brands of biscuits. And you go to the store and there's 2 fucking brands of biscuits. Do you really have a choice? Or are you being told what to buy?
Go buy the ingredients and make your own biscuits.
That's right. That's right.
You're from Kentucky. Right. You got your grandma's recipe somewhere around.
That's right.
Right now, so Biden says that he's the only he can beat Trump, and he's not the only Democrat that can. But Real Clear Politics has got some polls out there right now that say that Trump is polling at 46.6 over Biden's 44.5. And DeSantis, if DeSantis were running against Biden, would be up 46.8 over 45.8. So he's still losing to DeSantis, and he would even lose to Nikki Haley, who we saw as like a deer with a deer in the headlights when you ask her any questions.
Again,
this is all real clear politics, and this is aggregates of national polls. So there's polls all over the place, and then they take national polls, they put them together, and they give you this summary. So, it's not clear that Biden can beat Trump. Don't know about Newsom, but it does look like Biden is kind of signaling that maybe he won't run. We'll have to see. Yeah,
you've got a story about New Mexico Attorney General.
Yeah, I saw this.
I haven't heard this. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, so let me bleep 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 bleep. From Just the News, the New Mexico Attorney General is suing Meta, which you may know as Facebook, over promotion of sexual content to minors. The lawsuit comes as 33 state attorney generals filed a lawsuit against Facebook in October that alleged that both Facebook and Instagram include features to increase children's use of the platforms, resulting in increased depression, anxiety, and eating disorders.
Well, duh.
Attorney General Raul Torres filed a lawsuit against Meta this week. Torres filed a lawsuit in the First Judicial District Court. It came after a several-month-long investigation by his office. The investigation found that after creating fake accounts of children under the ages 14 and younger, they say that Meta violates the New Mexico Unfair Practices Act that bars unfair or deceptive trade practices and unconstitutional trade practices. Our investigation into Meta's social media platforms demonstrates that they are not safe spaces for children, but rather prime locations for predators to trade child pornography and solicit minors for sex. As a career prosecutor specialized in internet crimes against children, I'm committed to using every available tool to put an end to these horrific practices, and I'll hold these companies accountable. So, what's funny about that?
What's funny about that is this should be filed in the fucking category of shit that we've been saying for 10 fucking years.
Right?
Is
Absolutely.
This is why I'm laughing. It's like we've been. I was off Facebook for like 8 years, dude. I've just now got back on it. And it's only just to keep in contact with friends that I've completely forgot about. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't miss it, but the reason I got off of Facebook was because it obsessed my thoughts because of what it did. It was causing my relationship problems at the time because it was too easy. I see things differently than other people, and sometimes it's crazy and sometimes it's not. I just see things differently than other people. And I would see these conversations that she would say were innocent conversations. And I'm like, no, it's not. He's fishing. That's throwing a bobber out into the water and watching the bobber and seeing if you're going to hit the bait. And when you hit the bait, that bobber goes underneath the water. And when that happens, you jerk the hook. And when you jerk the hook, that sets the hook in the fish, and you've got the fish. And all you've got to do is casually reel it in. Okay. And these little innocent remarks on Facebook, like, oh, girl, you look the same as you did since high school, or, oh, you look as pretty as you did from back then. I hadn't seen you in 20 years. I'm like, those aren't little innocent remarks. Those are throwing the bobber into the water to see how your response is going to be. And if your response is favorable, oh, thank you, blah, 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 the next message is going to be to set the hook. One of these next messages is going to set the hook. And I watched it over and over again. So that's why I got off of Facebook. And it's the same way with predators. That is a predator move. It's the same way with predators and kids. They just go about it a different way.
Well, I mean, I don't know that Facebook is prime hunting ground for a child predator, but Instagram probably is.
Yes.
Instagram probably is, because there's kids are out there looking at, I don't know, whatever kids innocently look at, and then Instagram. Yeah, and then all of a sudden
you just don't know you're on Instagram.
Probably. Yeah,
you got a Facebook account.
If you're on Facebook, you really are.
You're on Threads too.
So,
you just don't know it. Welcome to the world of Meta.
Nobody's on Threads.
You just don't know it.
I'm not. All right.
All right, I got a story.
Let's do this entertainment stuff. Okay.
Well, I got one more before the entertainment news for you. I think
okay.
This one's coming from the this was from the BBC World News, but I think it's in Ohio. Actually, an Ohio woman. So this woman who assaulted a Chipotle worker was sentenced to a fast food job for 2 months. So a judge has ordered this Rosemary Hain, 39. She must now work at a fast food job for 2 months because she was convicted of assault for hurling a burrito bowl at a Chipotle worker. And she was offered this unusual way to reduce her time in jail. She was captured in a viral video screaming at an employee before throwing her food in the worker's face. At first, she was slated to pay a fine and serve 180 days in jail with 90 days suspended. But then the judge had another idea. You didn't get your burrito bowl the way you like it, and this is how you respond. Judge Timothy Gilligan, let's remember his name, told her at her sentencing, "This is not Real Housewives of Parma. This behavior is not acceptable," he said. He said she should cut 60 days in jail off if she agreed to work at least 20 hours a week at a fast food restaurant for 2 months, and she accepted. So in court, she apologized and tried to explain the rationale behind her screaming at the Chipotle worker. If I showed you how my food looked and how my food bowl looked a week later from that same restaurant, it's disgusting. I was had to throw it at your face because I can't control my emotions.
Right.
So I think this is hilarious. I'm a grown adult. This is a whole society. Grown adults that their parents were their friends. Their parents never told them no. They were never parented. They never had any consequences to any actions. And this is what they happen. It turns into a grown adult who does not know how to control their emotions.
The judge said, if you don't like the way your food looks there, just wait till you see what it looks like in prison or something like that. Which hysterical. I mean,
wow. So the girl that was assaulted, her name is Emily Russell, and
she wasn't even the
apparently
one
she was, and she got the food thrown at her, but she says she was stepping in to protect a 17-year-old employee who was getting yelled at by Hain. So this psycho woman was mad about her food and was yelling at a child, a minor, and Emily Russell got in the way. I was like, "Hey, let's chill out," and then got the bowl thrown at her. And Emily Russell has since quit Chipotle, and she says she's traumatized by the incident. So. That being said, I don't know where
another side of the coin. Good God Almighty, another side of the coin. All right. I'm sorry that you got food thrown in your face, but you're traumatized by the incident for real. Do you need a safe space and a huggy? Huh? Do you need a fuzzy teddy bear, sweetie?
You ain't getting it from Deegan.
Get over it. All right, you got food. I've had shit thrown at me. I've been punched in my face before. Come on.
Right.
Because I'm still friends with the fucking guy that punched me in my face. You know, I'm still.
But you're a guy. Guys solve problems with violence and then get over it.
That's true.
That's what we do. Like, hey, asshole. And you saw. And then, like, the next day, both of you forgot it happened.
Yeah. I saw a video of a gym fight the other day that got sent to me. And the two guys end up hugging each other at the end. I mean, the first guy just completely clocked him. His AirPods went flying. And
honestly.
And then they hugged it out. It was good.
I watch UFC like every month, more or less, and sometimes the guys really, really don't like each other, but a lot of times the guys are just beating the living beating the blood out of each other, and then at the end of the fight, the bell rings, and then they're like, hey, get up, and one of them goes and checks on the other, and they hug it out, and I'm like, I love the fact that the guys in the UFC are brothers.
Hoist Gracie set that standard.
Yeah.
Hoist Gracie set that standard in the very first UFC, way back in the day. We fight Shamrock. Who was it?
I think it was Ken Shamrock.
Yeah. And he cleaned his clock.
It's just an ingrained human male DNA.
Yeah.
But
women ain't like that, though.
It's not even a human one. It's just it's a male DNA in the male genes that,
something about something about our combative nature.
Yeah, seriously. That's what it is. That's why the sports and they go so crazy in sports, football and it's the same part of the brain for the male brain. Okay, let's talk about some entertainment news since we got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I saw this story come around a couple of times, and I thought, all right, let's talk about it because as many people make fun of this guy, and my son the other day was like, he's a terrible actor. I was like,
don't say it.
I love
Cage
him.
is the greatest actor. I love Nicolas Cage. He plans to say adios and quit film acting. Actor says, I've pretty much said what I've had to say with cinema and hopes to work in TV and spend more time with his family. Good for him.
Would love to see him as a regular on the 16th season of Supernatural.
Oh,
he would be amazing.
As who?
I don't care. Just make him slightly paranoid, and he would be awesome.
As the new, he could just be some schlub that just happens to
who's a retired hunter who is like slightly paranoid.
So I recently, I've seen we've all seen Nicolas Cage in like a million movies or whatever, but I recently saw Nicolas Cage as Renfield or as Dracula in the Renfield movie.
No,
did you watch the Renfield?
Oh no, he was
Dracula. He was Dracula. Nicholas Hoult was Renfield, but he was Dracula. It was awesome. He was so great. That movie is a blast, and
such a great concept. That's what me and Kendra got about it, because I didn't know what the concept was when we first started watching it, and he's going to these self-help people, these self-help groups to convince these people to come back so Dracula can feed on him. He's realized that's the easy way to get these people to come back to Dracula over the years. And then he's sitting there in that self-help group, and he finally realizes that, oh my God,
I'm being emotionally
abused. I'm being emotionally abused by my boss.
Yeah, Dracula just treats him like trash. It's so funny. No, Nicolas Cage. You'd think like Nick Cage as Dracula. Come on, nope. It's great. No, it's amazing.
It was great. It was like Bela Lugosi and
it's amazing.
What's his name? Yeah,
Christopher Lee.
Yeah,
Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi. It was perfect. Okay, so there was one entertainment story. I got another one here for you that was really interesting.
I didn't dive deep into this. So what's going on with Tim Allen?
I just ran across this story this morning, and I read it, and I thought, well, this is interesting because this woman looks very familiar too. Because I want to try to figure out. Let me Google who she is real quick, because her face
I think she just looks like
very familiar.
They give a crappy picture.
I think she just looks like somebody. She really? She looked like she never seen a sense of humor.
Well,
at least not in that photo.
She was on Casey Wilson said in a recent episode of her Bitch Cess podcast that working with Tim Allen on an episode of Disney Plus series, The Santa Clauses, was the truly single worst experience I've ever had with a co-star ever. Wilson, best known for her roles on Saturday Night Live and Happy Endings, guest starred on the show's pilot episode, which debuted in November of 2022. The Santa Clauses recently finished airing its second season on Disney Plus, and it's a sequel to the 3 movies. She says, Tim Allen was such a bitch. It was truly the single worst experience I've ever had with a co-star ever. She said had buried this story until now because a producer on the show was a great friend of hers and because her kids loved the movies. She said, so I'm in a scene and it's just me and Tim Allen and I'm supposed to throw things at him. Wilson remembered. I think he's a burglar, so he's coming down the chimney, obviously as Santa, and I'm woken up thinking he's an intruder, basically like a home invasion scene. So I'm throwing things at him and he goes over to the producer who is standing 4 feet from me and goes, and I hear him, he goes, you got to tell her to stop stepping on my lines. The producer turns to me with horror on his face and has to walk 1 foot to me. And he goes, Tim would ask you to stop stepping on his lines. Did you stop stepping on his lines? And she said everybody was walking on eggshells around Alan on the set. People just looked frantic. When he was done, he was so fucking rude. He never made eye contact, never said anything. I was so uncomfortable. She said after she finished shooting one scene, one shot that blocked her in a close-up, she said Alan immediately exited the scene without notifying any of his fellow cast members or crew. It's the end, and Alan goes, "Leaving," and takes his Santa cape and picks it up and drops it on the floor and walks out. And then they hustle his stand-in in, a very lovely man. So
I just think like my impression is like this bitch is full of shit. Like,
why do you automatically think she's full of shit and give Tim Allen the benefit of the doubt because he's funny and you like his movies? Because I think he's funny and I like his movies, but I can completely see him being like this. I'm not going to just.
I mean, I guess so, but.
Just because
it sounds like she was being like nasty and hostile. Maybe he just didn't want to deal with her. And,
I don't know, because Hollywood celebrities don't do that at all. None of them. They don't.
Okay. Like well, I mean, like if do you have any female coworkers that are with you? Yeah, you don't. And if you did, would you pretty much in any environment, if you had a conflict with a female coworker, would you just out and out directly confront her? Or are you not looking to get some sort of a sexual accusation case?
I've worked with, there were 3 people in this office. It was me and my 2 female coworkers. And I directly if I had a problem with them, I would go up to them and talk to them, because my one coworker, who is actually my boss, she likes to, when she gets mad, she's mad because she hasn't talked to you in a month. And that's how you know she's finally mad at you, is because she hadn't talked to you in a month. And I told the other coworker, I said, you know what? I'm not in fucking middle school. If I'm fucking mad at you, I'm going to come up to you and tell you what my problem is with you, and we can talk about it like adults, because we're not children. And if you have an emotional response like a child, then I'll shut up and we can do this some other time in some other way. But you're supposed to be an adult. I'm supposed to be an adult, and we should be able to talk about things like 2 adults without one person jumping all over and getting their damn feelings hurt.
I mean,
I don't care if you're female, male, tuck it back. You think you're a woman, but a man. You dress up like a man, but I don't care what you are. You think you're a fucking giraffe? That's cool. All right? We're still going to act like adults.
What do you think, Dave? What do you think?
No comment.
So, no, I'm not going to say no comment this time. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And it burns me a lot. And I'm okay getting burned, I guess, time and time again. I read Tim Allen's book a long time ago, Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man. And it was about his experience getting arrested and getting out of that and getting into showbiz. And I think at that point in his life, like right about the Tool Time Tim Allen show,
okay,
he was in a different place than he is now.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to speculate and say that he's entitled now. But I look at guys like Keanu Reeves, right? He has this reputation of just being a genuine, nice guy.
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. has the reputation now of being a genuine, nice guy.
Not back in the day.
No, not back in the day. So I think people can change. And I want to like Tim Allen. But I know that, man, there could be some entitlement on both ends.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm willing to see that. I'm just, first of all, I mean, the picture isn't flattering to her at all, but the title of her podcast is Bitch Sesh. So she's already branding herself, castigating herself as a bitchy woman. Okay. So, I mean, that's what she's doing, not me. And then, and then in addition to that, she's obviously complaining about her experience on the show. And okay, maybe there's some truth to that or whatever. But someone's firsthand account of a thing isn't like, you shouldn't just like swallow that whole necessarily. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, is there a reasonable explanation for not wanting to directly confront a female if you're a male? And to me, there is. Like I don't want to be in a professional.
17 episodes of their podcast.
Yeah, but she was only on the first one. Oh, that
a Real Housewives breakdown. It's her podcast, her and another woman.
Yeah, she did it herself.
That would be like on tomorrow's episode, you saying something disparaging about something, and somebody somewhere else picks it up and is like, "This guy's full of shit." Listen to him because he said this one thing on one episode 2 fucking years in.
Yeah.
He said this one thing on this one episode and he's full of shit and I don't believe him at all.
Yeah, but if this show was called JJ is a big asshole liar show.com, whatever.
Well, what if tomorrow you told a story about a coworker of yours that it was a very famous person, an interaction with a very famous person that you had?
Mm-hmm.
What I've got an interaction with a famous person that I think is a fucking asshole and is in a country band, a very famous country band. He was a fucking prick to me.
Right.
And I don't like that country band now because he was a prick to me. So if I told you that story and you like this country band quite a bit, you're automatically going to call me full of shit. You're automatically going to say I'm full of shit, or that I probably have something. I'm on a podcast that bitches all the time and I'm constantly bitching about things. So I'm automatically bitching about this. So I don't have legs to stand on.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying she's obviously complaining about something. I'm questioning what's her motive. Why is she complaining? What
they could ask that. Why is Deacon complaining about Sawyer Brown?
Is there a reasonable explanation? I mean,
why she needed another episode for a podcast.
Let me ask you this. She's saying Tim Allen's a bad guy.
Or they were sitting there talking about something completely off the fucking wall. Hey, my husband was fixing the cabinets the other day and blah, 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 blah. And he asked a question and I said something. It's something about tool time. And she's like, ha, 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 tool time. That reminds me of Tim Allen, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. I had this one bad experience with him. Yeah.
It wasn't the episode about Tim Allen.
Okay.
It could have been like we do.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to just dismiss what she said because he's famous, because in my experience, there's probably about a 75% chance that she's right about how he acted. There is a chance that she's wrong and that he was having a bad day or she made it all up.
I think you and I are both agreeing that there's a great deal of context missing.
I mean, I would love to hear
this story.
Alan's side. Was she stepping on his lines? If you are a seasoned actor like Tim Allen, I mean, this is a series that is tentpoled on him, right? It's the Santa Claus series that his work in the first 3 movies made this series possible. So he's the expert, and you're just somebody who's coming in for the episode, maybe a star, but are you stepping on his lines? Are you doing this? I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Maybe he's a seasoned guy, but I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing my radio job for 30 years. And the little boy that comes in here to run this stuff, to run this board and stuff, is 17 years old. Okay. I've been doing this job for longer than he's been alive.
Twice almost. And when he messes up, I don't call him a fucking asshole and just leave and tell him to learn. I'm actually nice to him and try to teach.
Call back. I think that's what Christie did to Ramaswamy. He said, before you were even voting, I was.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah. Deke, I don't know if Deke saw that clip or not. Yeah. So,
okay.
Well, all right. Well, look,
I've got one more hidden story.
Oh yeah.
I threw one in there that I thought was really.
What you got? What do you got?
What do you got? I haven't seen that.
Warren Buffett. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
He said this back in 2011, and it's circulating again. I thought it was really interesting. He said, "I can end the deficit in 5 minutes. Just pass a law that says anytime there's a deficit of more than 3% of the GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election."
Yeah, that is a good plan.
I mean, that's from 2011, and I hear that now, and I'm like, who? That would, I mean, could you imagine if re-election was dependent on something like GDP?
Problem is, I mean, technically, you probably can't do that with a law. You'd have to do it with like a constitutional amendment or something like that. It makes it real difficult. But I mean, that's a good plan. That's a good sketch of a plan. Like, tie their holding of public office to their And I love accountability when it's somebody else's. I love it.
Sorry, it was a short story. I loved it. I thought I'd throw that out there because I might do that connecting that to my joke today.
I'd bring that picture up, but Warren Buffett's not in the picture. All right, It's joke time. At the end of every show, we are obligated as dads to tell dad jokes. So who's going to go first? I'm going to say Deke. Deke, you can go first.
Okay. What do you call a bunch of chess players bragging about their game in a hotel lobby? Chess players,
chestnuts in a in a boasting foyer.
Oh, you're so close. Chestnuts boasting in an open foyer.
Oh man! Wow, that was really good. All right, I'm gonna go.
All right,
here you go. What do you do if you see a spaceman? What do you do if you see a spaceman? Park the car, man.
Nice.
That was a good one.
All right.
Nice. I got no
sound. You see a spaceman. You park the car, man. Yeah.
All right. Your turn, Dave.
All right. So along the Buffett line, I don't usually give financial advice, but I do want to give you some advice. Buy wind chimes.
Oh, buy wind chimes?
Mm-hmm. It's a sound investment.
No.
All right. Yeah. All right. Guys, if you haven't already, like, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. It's not Friday. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Rumble.com/JGW.
It's not Friday. Oh, my God.
I was like, well, hold on a second. I'm confused. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Deke and I will be back tomorrow. We'll talk about more amazing news. Deke, find us some UFO stories. I want to use the UFO clip. All right. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I thought it was Friday.
This is where I'm supposed to say something pithy, but my head is empty.
Just hit the button, Fred. Oh, I forgot.
Oh, we were down here.